Good afternoon. This is a quick demonstration of the Impress TV back office system that enables you to manage content from multiple sources, aggregating from multiple technology providers, and providing a discovery and monetization experience. So obviously the first thing to do is to log in. The system will provide initially a dashboard of activity. The system provides a backbone orchestration level, which any content ingestion or content management activity goes through the orchestration levels and is controlled by either a machine-to-machine process management system and a machine-to-human orchestration system that enables human operators to be part of a task management scenario. So, for example, if something is ingested and the content is not to the sufficient quality, it can be routed to an operator to fix it. For machine-to-machine communication, the back-end architecture is a product called Camel Routing. Here you can see all of the individual processes. Content is ingested into the system, for example, EPG or VOD content. It's enhanced, it could be translated. Enhancement can come from multiple sources, and we'll see this in the demonstration. But the main point is that everything is controlled by the orchestration layer, and the orchestration layers can be modified and enhanced or added to. So in this example, for example, we're adding iTunes and enrichment from the movie database as a external source. So any content in the EPG will be looked up in iTunes and looked up in the enrichment source from TMDB. Again, we'll see further demonstration of this in the system. But creating the routes and adding connectors is a very simplistic process. So adding an external connector for a EPG provider that's not currently supported by the system, or an enhancement that's not currently supported by the system, can be provided by creating the ingestion connector strategy. Back to the system is divided into three main modules, and I'm going to go through the first module called inventory in this video. We'll talk about some of the other modules in a later video, but to give you a highlight, first one is inventory, content management, where all the aggregation of content, the single source of truth for content. The second module is merchandising. This is how to interact with the API to provide compelling, personalized user experiences using a combination of curated content, search-based engine content, or recommendation engine content. So obviously one of the key strengths of the Impress TV product is it's closely coupled to the recommendation engine that has over 21 different APIs for content personalization, including content to content or person to content type recommendations. And lastly, but not least, there's a monetization capability. This enables content to be grouped into sellable products. And this is either used for integration to BSS systems for managing the transactions and the DRM, or it's used for personalization of the user interface for enabling the discovery API to request content that may be within an existing package or out of a package, so you can do a cross sell or an upsell. So for example, a game may be in a sports package which I don't currently subscribe to, so therefore we can do an upsell. But I know that information because I'm linking content to products. I'm also managing the transactions. So back to the main part of this particular video and going through the inventory system. Within the inventory, the system enables you to manage content that's in two main sources, that being EPG for linear TV, and therefore the system needs to know about the particular channels that the EPG corresponds to. And the other is transactional or subscription-based content that is more on demand. So movies, a TV show, live events, video clips that make up part of a news subscription service. And on top of those items, the system enables the inventory management system can also deal with the EPG items and the EPG series and treat them more like a VOD, transactional on-demand capability. So an EPG item can also become a catch-up or a recorded item within the system and be part of an EPG series. So starting at the top, going through the channels, and the system has over, the demonstration system has over 500 channels in there. The layout of most of the pages is that there's a most recently added list of channels in this particular case, and on the right hand side you have fault tracking. So there's 110 channels, for example, that don't have a creative or a channel logo, and there's 55 channels that have missing EPGs, and obviously the system would allow you to drill down in them. Also, we're tracking analytics from the system as part of the system, and now it's both transactional and user behavior in terms of watching to be tracked, again to try and improve the level of quality of the personalization and discovery. So the system at the bottom shows you the most popular by monthly views. So going to a particular channel, going to ITV, one of the UK channels, and you can see here we have a number of regional variations of the channel, and going through the system, go back to one of the other channels such as BBC, find the channel that we want to quickly review. You can see the system has most of the metadata for a channel: display name, its description. On all objects we have the ability to store creatives that belong to a particular object. In this case it's a channel. We have a poster server on the back end of the system that enables us to create just single aspect ratio images and then resize them, so you don't have to store multiple sizes on the back end CDN. It's all done on the fly, and you just need to store one large image per aspect ratio. The EPG providers can be configured and multiple. So in this particular case, the BBC One EPG is arriving from Tribune Gracenote, TMS. It's coming in via their APIs. It could easily be an XML drop folder. The system also supports Media Room for IPTV, so it can come from the Media Room publishing EPG pub.xml. It can come from a broadcaster directly in XML, multiple sources, and a number of other simplistic approaches, even Excel spreadsheets. And the integration of those connectors is all controlled by the back-end workflow system. Quick view of the EPG items for this particular channel on this particular day. You can see the system does the best it can in terms of providing the most metadata. There's typically a thumbnail that either comes from enhancing the series. So this is a TV series, Bargain Hunt, that repeats daily. So the image here, rather than trying to find an image for each episode, the images come from the series, but the metadata itself would be episodic. So it tells you who this particular, details of this particular episode, its category and its subcategory, and again show you the media which we can inspect, and typically try to get the largest size possible. And this is a 16:9 aspect ratio. And obviously as much data that can be ingested from the EPG item as possible, and when it's on TV. So the next episode of this is on the 3rd of August at 11:15 till 12 p.m. GMT. So these are automatically ingested EPG items that are continually being ingested, and if there's any problems, it would be orchestrated to a user for them to manage and change. If we have a look at, rather than coming in from the channels down to the EPG, we can come directly from the EPG items. And I'm going to show another piece of functionality on this. It's searching for, we know this week there's a famous movie called Cool Hand Luke, which is going to be on TV, and we've decided that we would like to promote it. So we can search through the EPG system on all the channels that are available to us. And here we've basically found the movie Cool Hand Luke, which is showing on these following channels: Sky Movies Greats, Sky Movies Selects on these following dates and times. And here's the media. Now this is the piece of media that was ingested from the EPG item. You can see it's actually not particularly sophisticated, not good enough for or large enough for a promotional slot. So the other thing we can do with Cool Hand Luke is actually create an editorial, and this enables us to enhance the movie. And then we go off and find a I'm just in another browser at the moment looking for some cool movie. Paul Newman in the role of Cool Hand Luke, and I won't bore you with my editorial capabilities, but we could go off and get a review from Google or wherever we want to do it, and that enables us to then, if we publish this, I can actually also add media to this. So one of the things I want to do is be able to improve my, go back to the editorials, edit this one. I want to be able to improve the editorial media, and I can go to a library of images that already exist, and if the image I don't see one that's already been there, so I can just add from something I downloaded previously, and that now will be part of my media library, and I can change it to a thumbnail, and I can select this from my editorial. So now what I've managed to do is find an EPG item. I've editorially enhanced it, and we could use that, I'll show you later in the merchandising module, the ability to add that into one of our featured slots. So in this particular case, we'll add it to editor's choice, and that will be available within the user experiences as a promoted piece of content for this particular EPG item. You can see while we're here that every action that the user of the system tries to do, such as publishing live, will be controlled by workflow. And depending on the role of the user who logged in, they will have different capabilities or different rights or different permissions to do work. So I've logged in as a super user here, so I can publish things straight away, which will still go through a machine-based workflow, so it will audit the process. But if I don't have the rights to publish directly to effectively what would be user experiences, then I could only just send this off for approval if I didn't have those capabilities. So back to our inventory system and going more to a on-demand type capability and looking at movies. The other thing that we have done is, as EPG items are ingested, Cool Hand Luke would be converted into an on-demand asset, and if possible, we would look up in the VOD on the on-demand library provided by the operator all of the ability to link that to a on-demand asset that they have the rights from the content owner to publish and sell. If the operator doesn't have the rights to publish and sell, there's something else we can do, which I'll demonstrate shortly. But here you can see from the EPG information, we had the very small thumbnail but our system went off and enhanced the content automatically. So first of all, it created an on-demand asset for the Cool Hand Luke movie, which could have been optionally linked to our video delivery platform. But in addition to that, it decided that we need to enhance the metadata through the connectors that we've built, and we've discovered through our external interfaces additional imagery and additional metadata, such as, for example, the contributors. So this has all been gathered from connecting to the relevant data sources that we have created connectors for. That could be iTunes, it could be Amazon, it could be the movie database, which is a published commercially available movie database. It could be IMDb, it could be Wikipedia, it could be Rotten Tomatoes for reviews. But in general, we use this for two reasons. One, to improve discovery experience, and the other to improve the fulfillment capability. And that fulfillment capability can be twofold. It can either be from the service providers on-demand catalog, or it can be from external fulfillment. So if we look at external references here, because we've looked up in our on-demand catalog and noticed it's not available, but we've still provided additional sources for this content. So we know this content is available within iTunes, for example, and we've got a link from this particular piece of content to iTunes. And if necessary, you could, in a user experience, divert the user to an iTunes capability for this movie. Ideally, you would divert them to a capability of the service provider's VOD catalog, whatever the brand that is being operated under. But this gives you the option if it's not available. Additionally, in terms of improving user experience, then all of the metadata that is available on IMDb and more, including the cast, including the synopsis, the ratings, is available to a builder of a user experience, and they can present this metadata, the 8.2 IMDb metadata, as part of the user experience. In addition to the inventory of the system, we support multilingual, so hopefully this particular movie has gone through this has gone through our enhancement process to include translation, and there was a translatable version of this in our database. Yes, it's been translated into Spanish. So here is the Cool Hand Luke version in Spanish, should it be needed for a bilingual, multilingual user experience. So basically showing all of the capabilities of ingesting from single sources or multiple sources and aggregating into a single source of truth. If we go back to movies and go to a movie that is within the service provider's catalog, for example, Oz the Great and Powerful, which is in our catalog, we have the rights to it. This is where we would link to a video delivery platform and be able to provide to the user experience the ability to stream this piece of content back. You see, this particular movie, Oz the Great and Powerful, is in a video platform that we're using to demonstrate to a service provider, and the user experience can call this exact same API and be given back the necessary device-based user URLs for this particular user. Whether it be enabled, it would get back a preview video. If it was not enabled, you get back a preview video. If it was enabled, you get back the URL for the streaming, and the ability to play this content and preview the content. This is just a link, so this is not, does not have any pretensions or capabilities to be a video encoding, transcoding, delivery to CDN. All of that is provided by third-party components. What the system does is aggregate those components into one particular place to make the management of the user experience very simplistic. And that would include the ability to stream it from multiple platforms. So if we look for another movie, for example, and going on to external references. In this particular reference, we have an IPTV media room connection, which would be able to provide the URL to provide the URL for or access to the IPTV system on a set-top box for a media room hosted piece of content. So the system can take content from multiple sources and aggregate them onto multiple sources. The system deals with a number of different types of video content. It could be a live event, but it could also just be simplistic video clips. In here you can see we have video clips from a news subscription service that is being put onto the system constantly, daily, again being ingested from a content owner, and in this particular case the content owner is providing also the streaming capabilities. So just to give you the complete understanding about the aggregation of content, also enables you to be a single API that enables content discovery APIs and playback APIs to be created, that enables multiple video platforms to play a part in the API experience. That concludes the demonstration capability of inventory. Just to give a flow through from this video to the next video I will create, is items also have the ability to be put into content discovery, what we call feeds, and this enables us to make content available into the discovery experience. In this particular case, this movie is not in any of the content feeds, but what we could do is put it into the editor's picks curated. So Home Alone 2 Lost in New York will now appear on a list of curated content that the discovery user experience can present to users, and this could allow us to promote pieces of content that we're interested in. So this concludes the discovery, the inventory, and the next video will be all about discovery.